we all have heard the expression as to how would I know when I meet God, or what form is God in? What does God look like? And most people, including all of us here, we imagine God to be in human form. So far, Bhagavan has, in the previous verses that we took, he told us how to devote ourselves to the remembrance of God, bhakti yoga. And then he also, before then, he told us about karma yoga. What kind of actions should we take or do? How should we perform our actions? And then last week we took how he began to address self-inquiry. And today the verse we are going to start with, number 24. He is defining the form of God. How, in experience, how can you meet with God? What is God like? How can you experience it? And he says, jīvayo veṣadhī-bhidā satsva bhāvato vastu kevalam. What is the form of the Lord? He says, Ish jīvayo, the difference between the jiva, the limited human being like all of us, and God. The difference between the two is only of vesha, meaning the costume. The only difference between the two is of costume and nothing else. What does that mean, Bhagavan? He says, take out your vesha, throw away your costume, and you shall be God. Satsva bhāvato vastu kevalam. Essential nature of you and Lord is the same. It is camouflaged and covered because of your own costume. Because you think you are the body, that's why you don't think you are the Lord. Otherwise, if you take away the costume of whatever your attributes or costumes are, whether it be body or definitions, if you remove them, you would be with God, you would be experiencing God. Jiva is limited, alpavyapi. And Isha, God is sarvavyapi, omniscient. He is everywhere. He is in everything, every form, including yourself, your body. But if you just remove those definitions, the definition of the body, especially in this particular case, no doubt it goes on to describe about other objects as we shall meet in the next verse. But he's saying at this stage, if you remove the obstacle of your body being taken as yourself and drop it, then you would have met God. And this is a loaded thing. I mean, it's easier said than done for mortals like us. And yet we understand philosophically, we understand in essence that yes, we are the ultimate reality. Like that young girl who joined us from Allahabad 2 weeks back and spent time with me alone. She said, but Bandhuji, didn't Bhagwan say that we are the self? Then why discuss this? I said, if that were that easy, why would Bhagwan write 30 verses in UPADESA SARAM, 40 verses of self-realization, 28 questions of who am I, and so many other Tamil works? And why would we have Shankaracharya writing it? Why would we have so many Upanishads? It's because we have to understand how to remove our camouflaged, dwarfed, dormant reality that we have made dormant. We have camouflaged the reality. We have covered it with something. And that veil that we have to remove takes some effort. It's like saying that the shirt is me. If somebody comes and says, if we were to create a hypothetical example, it's just coming to my mind. If somebody comes and says, oh, this shirt is you, you will immediately say, no, this is my shirt. I am this, but this is the shirt. And the person, let's say, if you were to create a cameo, a person says, no, but I think you are this yellow shirt. Bandhu, this is Bandhu. And you would say, no, you don't have the understanding this is a cloth, a fabric was spun and stitched and this and that and made to look like a shirt. And I wore it over my body, just as you put a shirt on the hanger, I put my arms to it. No, but you are this. No, you don't understand. I'm not the shirt. And then you look at someone and say, he doesn't understand. I'm not the shirt. God is doing the same to us. God is having the same argument with us that you don't understand. You're not the body. You say, I'm not with you. You can't see me because you are seeing the body. Stop seeing the body. Remove yourself from the body. Remove from the attachments of the body, and you would have met me. You know, there's a beautiful instance when Hanuman, I'm sure all of you are familiar with, or at least have heard the name of Rama, and how Hanuman the monkey comes to help Rama when he has to cross the ocean in search of his own consort, Sita. And Hanuman, like a monkey, comes to him and bows and says, I'm here. And Ram looks at him and says, but I don't know, I don't understand. Do I know you? Who are you? He appreciates him, no doubt. He respects him and says, but I still don't know who you are. And Hanuman says, it's a beautiful verse. I'm just going to read it in Sanskrit. Deha buddhyo to dasoham. Jiva buddhya to damashakaha. Atma buddhya tvavemaham iti me nishchalamati. He says, he's giving his introduction to Lord Rama. Look at the beauty of that introduction. He says, as a body, I am your servant. Dualistic thinking, when I think dually and I consider myself to be a body, I'm your servant, dasa, server. So, and then he goes on to say, Jiva buddhyo tava dashaka. But when I think philosophically that I'm just the jiva, not the body, then I'm part of you. When I think I'm the jiva with whom in this body the breath flows, or therefore I'm the jiva, then I'm part of you. But when I think myself to be as a soul, first I thought I was the body. If I think I'm the body, I'm your servant. If I think I'm just the breath in the body, then I'm part of you. But when I think I'm the soul, then there's no difference between you and me, Lord Rama. And this is my firm understanding. He says, iti me nischala matihi. This is my definite understanding, my clarity, that when I think that I am the soul, then I am none other than you. And this is what Ramana and all other self-realized souls wanted us to absorb, imbibe, and repose and stay with it, that we are not the limited entity. We are way beyond it. And how do we get to that? By dropping all our attachments, dropping all our definitions. Even definitions of I live in this country, or my religion is such and such, or my education is such and such, or all other attributes that define me, if we begin to drop it slowly and detach from it, because they will not vanish. It's not going to vanish. The world is going to continue around us, sticking to us like the resin on the tree trunk, but yet we can be completely detached from it. So, isha jīvayo veṣadhī-bhidā satsva bhāvato vastu kevalam. Bhagavan has said the same thing. If you remove all the things by which you define yourself, especially because of your body, and you are the alpa vyapi, you are the limited, your spread is very limited. And the spread of the omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent Lord is sarva-vyapi, is always present. That alone is present. So because taking my vesha, my costume, as true, real title of myself, there exists the notion of a difference between God and jiva, between God and me. From the perspective of essential nature, the truth is only one. I just read the translation of this verse. Isha jīvayo veṣadhī-bhidā satsva bhāvato vastu kevalam. Sagun Brahman, if you read one of the translations, it goes into Nirguna Brahman, Nirakara. Nirguna, which has no definition, no attributes, no limitations, no shape, no form. And Saguna Brahman is the ultimate reality, which is encompassing everything that you define the world and yourself with. So that's verse number 24. How do I see God? Jīvayo veṣadhī-bhidā. There's one more paragraph here in commentary from one of the books. I'm just going to read it. Referring to the triad common to all religious systems, the individual, the world, and God, Sri Bhagavan says, Ramana Maharshi says that these are all the illusions of the outgoing mind. When, however, they are viewed from the standpoint of ultimate reality, they are seen as one. The Sanskrit text, jīvayo, jīvayo is the first three conjugated words of this verse 24. Jīvayo, the Sanskrit text jīvayo, between Ishvara and individual, identifies two persons, the creator and created. And the verse concludes that they are both the same in essence, the absolute Brahman, differing only in the attributes of power and knowledge. Now, if you go back to verse number 3, Bhagavan, this is the beauty of UPADESA, how he has walked us to build up to this stage. If you go to verse number 3, for those who have the book in front of you, Bhagavan says, Ishwararpitam nichaya kritam chittukshodakam mukti sadhakam. He has understanding the limitation of the mortals like us. He says, he's giving us the opportunity to look at God as separate from us. And is making us aware that, yes, at this stage you see God as different. And there he says, action performed without desire purifies the mind that leads to liberation. Because he says, you are Ishwararpitam nichaya kritam chit. So your actions should be such that they are offered to the Lord without any expectation of anything at all. So he paves the way that you can see Lord as separate until and unless your action is completely selfless. And the stage to transgress from that duality would be to make your every action totally selfless and as if it was devoutedly done for the Lord by the devotee. So from verse number 3 and verse number 24, he says, you are the Lord. In verse number 3, he says, you could see Lord as separate as long as you see him separate as yourself from yourself. Your actions are not still completely purified, they are contaminated. But if we make them pure, then we begin to see the all-pervading Lord as the only entity, because my actions are not selfish. They are not like a boomerang coming back to me for my benefit. Comments, questions, additions, reflections, thoughts?
Yes, Bandhuji, may I please?
Sure.
Yes, the only thing I wanted to say is that, this is where personally I find myself stuck, where because of the fact that I have a physical disability and because of the fact that I am in constant pain, I am unable to think beyond the body. So I am unable to, that the lines that Hanuman you
right.
spoke about Hanuman saying,
yeah,
if theoretically, of course, one understands that, but practically to imbibe that into your life is where I find myself completely stuck. Because of, of course, I'm finding it personally very difficult at this point in time because of the fact that I have such intense chronic pain.
Yes.
But theoretically, I also realize that that's just an excuse and I need to be able to go beyond that. But yeah, I'm stuck there for the moment.
Yeah. And very well said, Mona. The most difficult times to practice is when we are in the thick, we are in the middle of the problem, when we are part of the problem. And there are two ways of looking at it. And I'm not qualified to speak on this because I don't have, I may have different kind, but not that kind of condition that you mentioned about. And having said that, half the battle is won when you can admit that this is what is happening. That's the 50% is already won. So you are in the winner's quadrant. You're not in the quadrant where you could say you're stuck with it. You're not stuck with it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to paraphrase. You wouldn't have been able to share with people that, yes, I have this problem. So that paradigm shift has to come about, that no, Mona is not stuck. Mona has already released herself. That's why she's able to address it. Having said that, and maybe we all, to each his own, we all have different circumstances. We all carry our own cross. And the way Bandhu himself could deal with certain things in his life, and mine were not anywhere close in comparison to what you're dealing with, Mona. So I don't want to either leverage my own suffering to a level that yours is at, nor do I want to diminish what you are experiencing by saying, yes, I've experienced similar things. I don't want to either way paraphrase it.
No, not at all. I'm not taking it like that at all. I'm just grateful for your inputs in this.
The only way Bhagwan helped me was to begin to see myself, as you said last week, and I did send you an email, by the way, Mona. I don't know if you read it or not. When you said,
yes, I have.
Why not me, is a very good, excellent Mahavakya, actually. It's more than an axiom. Why not me? And that's how Bandhu was able to deal with it when things began to happen. When they began to happen with me in 1995. So it's been 25 years plus, 27 years. And all I could see was to reflect upon it and say, Bhagwan, you have chosen me to bear this load. I'm the chosen one. I'm not the limited one to whom you have afflicted me, to whom you have afflicted with this. No, you have chosen me to bear this cross. Just as Jesus had to carry his own cross to create a physical simile. Yes, you are the chosen one, Mona. The battle is already won. Don't use I'm not advising you, but the word stuck is definitely not in your vocabulary. You are beyond that. Your exchange with me one-on-one verbally and whatever little exchanges we have had in emails shows me a profound understanding, a clarity that Mona emanates. So just stay with that. That's all I would say. There's nothing else. And
that's only theoretical at this point. I'm trying to kind of make it more than that. Right now, it's just theoretical and in my head, in my mind, in I don't know where, but I'm still trying with it.
Bhagwan has said in questions such as these, similar questions, Bhagwan has said, you do not know the benefit you are reaping by even thinking the way you have begun to think. And that's what I would say. Bhagwan would have told you if you were sitting in front of Bhagwan, you do not know what a battle you're already winning. So Mona, stay with that. You're already there. It may appear to be physical. It may appear to be mental. It may appear to be just philosophical. The mind may keep throwing the lasso around you to say, no, no, you haven't got it yet. Don't worry about it. The wealth is being deposited for you to reap benefits of at the right time. That's all. We are just camouflaged with the feeling that I'm not there yet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mana. Thank
nice
you for
to hear.
Sharings. Thank you.